Hey guys, what's up? The PS2 is probably one of the best game systems of all time. I think before the PS2 there was nothing like it, and after the PS2 there's still really nothing like it. There are just so many games that they made for the PS2 that's just for the PS2. You know, they made so many games that are just so good on the PS2 that even though they had future better, more advanced consoles that have better graphics and maybe a larger game, the PS2 still has such a high quality of really good games that it's really worth just getting a PS2 or having a PS2 and playing games on it. It's really it's a specific experience. Like the Xbox games that came out at the time, there was Xbox and PS2, they were like the two systems that came out at the time, and then there was the Nintendo GameCube, which doesn't have a lot of games at all. But if you really compare it, the big games came out on both systems, but then a lot of games came out only on the Xbox or only on the PS2, and the ones that came out on the PS2, there were more of them, and there were just so many good ones that it's hard to really even compare it to other systems. Even like the 360, there were like a few really good games on the 360 that were really good, but there were like a few. You would get like the PS2, they would have a wide variety of really good games that were just coming out all the time, and now it's like super easy to get. You can get a PS2, it's really super cool. And so out of all of the movie games, there were like a lot of games that came out that were movies before they were games. And that's what they're trying to do. They always do that. They make a book. Oh, it was a good book. Let's make a movie. So they make a movie. Oh, it's a great movie. Let's make a game out of it. And they make a game out of it. They make a comic out of it. They make a Happy Meal out of it in McDonald's, right? And so there was just a lot of stuff that they did on the PS2, which was really good. And a lot of it was movie games. And some of them weren't that bad. Some of them were actually pretty good. A few of them are actually really worth checking out. One of them is Battlestar Galactica. Okay, so this was technically this is not a movie game, but there was a Battlestar Galactica movie, and there were two different Battlestar Galacticas. There was the more advanced version. There was like the recent version, the 2000s Battlestar Galactica, where they changed the story completely. They changed the characters completely, and they changed everything about except the names of everything were the same, but they just changed the whole story completely and made it something totally different, but they still called it Battlestar Galactica. Personally, I don't know why they still called it Battlestar Galactica. They could have called it something else instead and not have to like change everything about Battlestar Galactica and make it like redo it. They could have just called it their own thing and it would have been fine, but they had to call it Battlestar Galactica because it was a popular name and it was a popular genre. It was a popular like TV show, and I think this was in the 70s or something like that, right? It was a popular TV show and it was really cool. It's hard to watch that TV show now because at the time it was really good, but then if you watch it now, you compare it to the modern TV shows that are a lot better, and the older TV shows were repetitive. You know, the story was repetitive. The same things happened all the time, like the Incredible Hulk, repetitive. Dukes of Hazzard, repetitive. Bionic Man, $6 Million Man, repetitive. A lot of the TV shows back then were repetitive, and so was like Battlestar Galactica. But it was still fun at the time because I think that these were just like basically sold to kids. You know, it's just a kid science fiction show. So Battlestar Galactica on the PS2 was actually pretty cool. The back of the thing is like they just show you like some of the graphics from the game, and I just played into it like a little bit, and I found it to be very difficult to play, really hard to play. I couldn't get past like the first or second level. However, there is a level difficulty setting that you could pick, and you could pick like an easier difficulty or a harder difficulty if you find the game is too easy or too like difficult for you. You can just like make it harder or easier, and I like that about the game. Basically, like in the first level or the first couple levels, you basically fly one of these Viper ships. I think that's like what they call them was Vipers. And you basically fly these and you shoot the Cylon ships, which were also, Cylons were like robots, basically. They were robots, or I don't know if they were like cyborg, but I think they were just like mostly robot or all robots. and they're attacking the mothership of where you are, the actual Battlestar ship. That's Battlestar Galactica. Battlestar Galactica is the name of the ship that you're flying in, and the Vipers, these are just the fighter jets, the fighter ships, the short-range fighters from Battlestar Galactica, from the Battlestar. And so basically the ships are attacking the Battlestar, and you have to defend the Battlestar, and you have to like shoot down the enemy ships, which is a space battle. Space laser beams, you're shooting like torpedoes, energy blast weapons, you're flying around, you're able to change the amount of energy, the amount of like where all of the power of the ship is going. You can power up all weapons, you can power up all shields, you can power up just speed and go very, very quickly. You can focus the energy of the ship for like stronger weapons, stronger shields, or like faster warp drive, or whatever it is that kind of like powers the ship, makes it go in space. And so that's pretty much how the game starts. I think it just continues like that for the whole game, but that's really cool. I really do like the fighter games. I really like space battles, anything like that where you're like flying a fighter ship, a jet, some kind of ship like that with like laser beams and all kinds of torpedoes, and you're like zooming around and stuff like that, and there's like enemies attacking you. Awesome. I love the concept. I love how the game is. My only thing about the game was that it was too difficult. But the thing is that I played it on a regular difficult level. I could have played it, I could actually lower the difficulty and play it on the easier level, and I'd probably like beat the level and go to the second one. I was just trying it on the normal difficulty, but I found it really hard. Even though I played the level like 20 times, I really found it like really hard to get to the next level because they just kept blowing up my ship. And so that was happening, and yeah, it's technically not a movie, but it technically is the same kind of thing. It was a TV show. It was a movie. They did make some movie kind of TV, movies with the old Battlestar Galactica, and and that's what this is. This is the old Battlestar Galactica from the 70s or 80s or something like that, or the 70s, or I think it was the 70s. It's the old Battlestar Galactica, and they didn't change it around at this point. They don't have it's not the new Battlestar, which is what I like, and that's like why I got the game, because I liked the show at the time, and the game is just like something that they didn't have the technology to make a Battlestar Galactica game, but they do now. It's pretty cool. It's just like you fly around your ship, you shoot the enemy ships. It's a lot of fun. It's all like target practice and maneuvering, and you have to protect the main ship. And I just kept like getting that ship blown up because I didn't know how to protect the ship, because all of the Cylon raiders were just coming across and destroying it. But I guess if you lower the level, it's a better game. Like everyone, yeah. So it's a better game. But anyway, another one that's actually really, really good. Now, as far as I know, before I go to the next one, sorry. As far as I know, before I go to the next one, as far as I know, this is kind of, in my experience, it's unplayable because of the difficulty, and it's hard to get like past the first or second level. Because of that, I found it unplayable. However, there is an easier setting to play it on an easier setting. Now I'm going to try the easier setting and see if it's more playable, more fun on the easier setting, and then I'll see like if the game is any good, because it's hard to really rate a game or review a game based on like the first 2 levels of the game that I couldn't get past. But these I actually did like a lot. These are fantasy games, and this is the Lord of the Rings games, and this is pretty cool. So this is the first one. Now this is not based on the book. This is based on the movie. You could see like those are the movie characters, and the characters you play in the game are the movie characters. And I've got 2 of them. Return of the King, Lord of the Rings Return of the King, I think it was the first one, and the 2 Towers was like the second one, and there was a third one for the third movie and the third book, and it's fun. It's basically the movie. You are the characters in the movie, you're playing in the world of the movie, you're playing against all of the different, like, whatever, the goblins or like orcs or whatever they were, the monsters, and you're playing against those. You're playing against monsters. It's a monster combat battle where you've got swords, you've got magic. You're the characters that were in the movie, and you're playing against the monsters in the movie. A lot of fun. They did it really well. I didn't think it was going to be as good. But they did it really well. They've got really good graphics. Of course, it's PS2 graphics, so right now it's like we're used to better graphics than this. But basically, it's just levels are, some of them are from the movie, I think. I don't even know if the thing is, I don't even know if the characters are from the movie, but I'm not sure if the actual levels are from the movie. Here's the one, the Return of the King one. You've got like the dwarf, you've got the elf. It's just all Lord of the Rings movies. Now, you know, I don't know, like, okay, so the characters are from the movie, the ideas from the movie, the whole world of it is from the movie, but I'm not sure if the levels and the monsters are like directly from the movie, because I didn't really get into the movie. I saw some of the movies and whatever, but I didn't really get into the whole movie thing where a lot of people, I just saw the movie a lot of times, they really loved it. I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay for a movie. I thought it was okay for a fantasy movie, which I like that kind of stuff, fantasy movies. But it's just they you know, here's the magician guy, Gandalf, and then you got like the warrior guy. And on the first one, it's pretty cool. It is, I don't know why it's got like this weird like thing that says Lord of the Rings on it, but yeah. It's basically, even if it's not like, even if the scenes and the levels and the story inside the game is not directly from the movie, I feel like it doesn't have to be, because it's close to the movie. It's sort of the kind of thing that you would see in the movie. So even if they created some extra monsters, or they made it a little bit different, or created another a storyline that wasn't directly in the movie or in the story, it doesn't really matter, because the characters, the whole idea from it, the monsters, the whole world that they're in is from the movie. So it was a movie adaptation, and I think some of the levels might have something to do with some of the scenes in the movie, and some of the levels kind of don't. But honestly, as a game, they work. They're fun, and I didn't think they would be as good as they were, because a lot of times we know it's a movie, they're making a game out of it. They're trying to see how much money they can make from this franchise, you know. But it was actually a well-made game, and you know, Electronic Arts, EA made this, EA Games, and they actually have really good games. EA is one of the best games, you know, game systems, game developers around, and it's close to the movie, if not exactly from the movie, and some parts are just extras. But you'll like it if you like Lord of the Rings and you like games. You probably like it. It's fun. It's pretty cool. This came out, Constantine. Constantine was based on, this is the Keanu Reeves movie, and obviously this is the Constantine because this is the movie graphic. And yeah, this is the movie graphic. It came with the whole book and everything. It came with the disc. And this is the one with Keanu Reeves. You basically play the Keanu Reeves character of Constantine. Constantine was a movie that came out based on a comic book, a British-English comic book called Hellblazer, and the name of the character is John Constantine. And the character John Constantine is basically an urban fantasy magician. He's a wizard, he's a magician, he's an occultist, he summons demons, he summons spirits, he does magic spells, he has magic items and weapons, and the stories is him combating and going against powerful supernatural beings, demons, devils, poltergeists, you know, all these different like crazy, like out of the world monsters that you get when you go into the whole occult world and stuff like that. And so they made a game out of it, and I'm really happy they did, because I liked the movie a lot. In fact, I watched the movie before I read the comic, and the movie got me in. First of all, I love the movie. I thought the movie was great. Keanu Reeves is great in the movie. Keanu Reeves doesn't have a bad movie ever that he's ever made. I did, there are a couple of them, Johnny Mnemonic and whatever it was, but I didn't see Johnny Mnemonic. So in my experience, I've only seen his good movies. So I feel like, he only has good movies. But this is John Constantine based on the movie, and it's also based on the character. So there's magic, there's you going into different worlds. The graphics are like, he basically goes into like different worlds, he goes into like kind of like a hellish world, like a hell world, where everything is red and everything's on fire, you know? And it's basically also an adaptation from the movie, and it's got like the things in the game are like from the movie. Him going against demons and monsters and devils and all that kind of stuff. Interesting thing about this game, I played through it for the first several levels. I'm gonna say like over 10 or so levels. Like I think it's go through the whole game, but I went through like 10 or more levels and I spent a lot of time into it. It was a lot of fun. You know, it's not a perfect game, but then a lot of games also, I mean, like no game is a perfect game. Just some games are just well designed and well built and well made, and you know, they're more playable. This is fun. It's great. It reminds you of the movie, and it's fun as a game on its own. So even if you never saw Constantine or you've never read the comic, which you should, because I watched the movie and then I read all the comics after that, and then the comics just kept their page turners. They're just like so good, and there's so many of them, and they stopped printing them at some point, and then a few years later, I think DC is printing them again, and they're making new Constantines, and there was a TV show that came out with a different actor, not Keanu Reeves, a different actor who also played Constantine, and which I didn't see because I tried watching the TV show, but it's kind of annoying because they kept having these really annoying commercials in the middle of the TV show. Like you'd watch 10 minutes of it and it'd be interesting to get into it, and then all of a sudden, like commercials, like for 5 minutes. I'm like, you know, I'm really not used to that. I'm no longer used to I used to be used to commercials all the time with regular TV, but now with cable and Netflix, you're not used to commercials anymore, and you don't want to watch your TV shows with a bunch of interruptions and commercials because they're annoying, right? And so I didn't watch more than like the first episode or whatever it is, but I heard it was really, really good, and I did like this one, and yeah, I did like this one, and even like the cover of it is got Keanu Reeves on it. So you're playing Keanu Reeves, you're playing the Keanu Reeves character who played Constantine, you're playing it through the world, through the movie. It's got things in the game that are from the movie or from the story or from the whole idea of it. And you're just playing through levels where there's monsters, there's battles, there's magic, there's all kinds of coolness, cool stuff. It's very, very occult, wizards, sorcerers, magicians, summoners, all kinds of cool stuff like that. And it's modern and it's urban fantasy. It's not medieval fantasy. So the magicians don't look like Gandalf or Merlin. They look like, you know, some guy that lives in some brownstone, you know, in the next city over or something like that, you know, just like it's a very, very modern day environment. Fun game. The problem that I found with it, there was a level, maybe if I just kept playing the level, I'd beat it, but there was a level that I think was just poorly designed, where the other levels were better designed and you were able to like traverse them and figure them out and go through them and go to the next level. This level was just like, I think it was just poorly designed. It was not a fun level to get through, and it wasn't a well-designed level because it was hard to like navigate and figure out what am I supposed to do next? How do I like beat this monster? How do I get to the next level? It was hard to figure that out, and because of that, I got stuck on this level and I put down the game and I just like went to play something else, because honestly, there are so many games out there that when you get stuck on a game, you get stuck on a level that you can't get out of, you can't get through, it gets annoying after a while. You just put the game down and you're like, okay, I'm gonna play this other game because I wanna have fun and I don't wanna be stuck in a level, you know, and not know how the hell to kill this monster or defeat this monster or get through the next level. So that's the thing about that. And I don't know if it was poorly designed or if it was just hard to navigate or if it was just like the difficulty level was higher on that level. I don't know, but whatever. Maybe I'll come into it later. Maybe I'll start it from the beginning and play through it again. I might just Google like how to get past that level and try to see if there's a real way to do it, or if it's just a poorly designed level that you can't get through. You know, sometimes with these, you know, it's not a professional. It's not trying to be like the best video game of all time. You know, and it's just trying to be what it is. It's trying to be a video game based on a movie character. or a movie in that world in the movie. So I guess, I don't know if they cared about the level, but they could have really made it a little bit more understandable. And so you don't get stuck there. But anyway, so this other one is The Hobbit. The Hobbit, prelude to Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit wasn't necessarily a movie, but it was a movie, so I'm going to put it in there. And it was a book, but so was Lord of the Rings. But then it was a movie, and so then it was a game. It probably would not have been a game if it wasn't a movie. And so this is basically for everyone. It's got you play this little cute little Hobbit character, and you got like this golem on the back, and you got all the stuff from the movies, Middle Earth levels, your Frodo, your Bilbo, your all that like Lord of the Rings Hobbit stuff. And I really was really excited about getting this game. I was really excited about playing it and going through the whole Hobbit universe. Yeah, but you know what? The thing is that it was fun for the first few levels, but then, of course, you get into this weird level you can't get through. It's a stealth level. It's not even a combat level. It's a stealth level where you've got to sneak around past these giants or they eat you. And I tried doing it like so many times. I tried to do it so many times, like so many times. You get through this level by sneaking by, just because I wanted to get through the level. I didn't even like care about playing that level, and I would not be able to get past the giants. They would constantly they would constantly freaking catch the character, and then I don't know, they basically like eat him and whatever, put him on the spit or whatever it is. Not that great. I wouldn't recommend this game. I'd recommend Constantine. I think it's a good game still. The Hobbit, I really wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it was well made. I think they just did it because it's The Hobbit and people are gonna buy it. And they do that, unfortunately. But I don't think it was that well made. And I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb. Yeah. This is cool. Here's some like graphics from it. Let me show you so that you can, yeah. This is actually pretty cool. You do play Indiana Jones, and you play the same Indiana Jones that's in the movie, and basically it's the same thing. It's a new adventure. It's not like Temple of Doom. It's not Raiders of the Lost Ark where you play through that movie. It's its own story, it's its own idea, and it's its own movie, but it's not a movie, it's a game. So it's its own game. And it's pretty cool. I mean, they did the exact thing. They took the concept of Indiana Jones and they put it through here. It's a good Tomb Raider kind of movie. You're Indiana Jones, you've got your gun, you've got your whip, you got your hat, you know, and yeah, you play Indiana Jones in the game. And it's fun. It really is fun. There is this weird level, of course. There's always like, in these games, you know, there really is a common thing where some levels are poorly designed. And while most of them are well designed and you could go through it and have a good time and have fun, some levels are really poorly designed on these. And there's this one level in here, which is like like halfway through the game, you know? Half of the game is fine and it's fun and you get through it. And then there's this like thing, this underground level where you're like underwater, you're underground, you're underwater, and there's a giant octopus, and basically, and you've got this like spear gun kind of thing, you know, those underwater spear guns that they shoot at friggin', I don't know, like big sea monsters. So anyway, so this octopus is attacking the character, and then the character's like trying to like shoot it with the spear gun and whatever it is, and it's just really hard. And then it throws these like these weird plankton or whatever at you and stuff, and you have to like dodge them. It's hard to get through the level because it's hard to even navigate because you're underwater, so you're kind of swimming, and then you've got your spear gun, and then you have to like, I don't even know what you're supposed to do or how you're supposed to like play the level or get through the level. I don't even understand it. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do and how to even get through the level. So that's the only thing. It gets into one level that's hard to go through. That's the only thing. But otherwise, hey, if you can figure out the level, if you can figure out how to beat the octopus, it's probably all good, you know? This is another one, Van Helsing. There was a movie about Van Helsing, and I think this is Van Helsing, I think was a book or something before the movie. But this is this seems to be the Van Helsing from the movie, because it looks like a similar like it looks like a similar movie poster. I don't know. I think it does. I didn't really see the movie. I don't care about Van Helsing, right? But I did get this. Why did I get this? I don't know. Like I remember, like I was in a game store, and the kids at the game store were playing this, you know, and so it looked pretty cool, and I actually heard it was good, so I got it, and it's pretty good. Like on the back, you've got like decent levels. It's your Monster Hunter game, you know. It's your basic Monster Hunter game, where you're Van Helsing, you're a monster hunter, and you're going, you know, through monster territory hunting monsters. So it's you know, I didn't really play into it, but so I can't really tell you whether it's good, but I don't want to like mention it, because if anybody likes Van Helsing and you're a big fan of it, there's a game for it. And this is The Warriors. This is a cool movie, but in my experience, it's not a great game. And not because it's not, maybe like if you play the whole game, it's a great game, but it's a little bit like, it's got these little, first of all, it's Rockstar games, which I don't know, a lot of people like Rockstar games. I don't like Rockstar games for some reason. They don't resonate with me. It's just not my thing. Every Rockstar game is always popular. Everyone likes it. You know, Grand Theft Auto is a Rockstar game. I cannot get into Grand Theft Auto. I can't get into any of the Rockstar games. The Wild West Rockstar game, I can't get into that one. And I couldn't get into this one because it was fun actually, but there were just so many silly, these little like, it just had these stupid like mini games in it. Like one of the games that I mean, this looks like it should be good, right? Warriors is about the gangs of New York, where, you know, one gang is after another gang, and they all like fight each other, and baseball bats and all kinds of like stuff happening, and in the 80s. And the world is the 80s, and you know, it's 80s New York, and there's 80s like everything. The train is the 80s. They dress 80s. They're 80s gangsters in the, you know, gang clubs and whatever it is, and they're just like fighting other gangs. That would be fun if that's all it was, but it's not. There's not a lot of that. There's a little bit of that, but there's a lot of like stupid freaking mini games that are like, one is that like you're getting, it's so weird. Like there's this one thing where like there's cops everywhere, and they and the guys who are like in the gang are getting, I guess, arrested by the cops or whatever. And then there's this little mini game where they do something with the handcuffs to unhandcuff the other members of the gang so they can get up and fight in the level or whatever it's going on. And there's another one which is stupid, which is like the mini game is that you have to like spray paint a wall with graffiti. Like for some reason you have to write a W for Warriors on a wall with graffiti, and it's just like, why do you want to do that? Why do you have to spray paint a W on the wall for graffiti? Like, well, how is that even fun? So the little mini games are dumb. They're not interesting. They're not cool. I don't think they're fun, and I don't think there's enough of actual warriors in the game. There's no, if it was like gangsters versus gangsters, that would be cool. That would seriously be cool. In 80s New York, that would be cool. Gangsters fighting other gangsters. There's so much cool stuff you could do with this idea, but they just didn't do anything with it. They made the scene, they made like all of the scenes from the movie, they made it very, very like the movie. The characters, I don't know if the characters are directly from the movie, but they were like characters in the movie. But they didn't make it the whole point of the movie, which was like gangsters fighting other gangsters, which there might be some of that in there, but there's just so many other things that you have to do and so many other levels that are dumb, they're pointless, they're not fun, and they're not the reason you bought, you know, Warriors, the game. You didn't do that because you wanted to freaking spray paint a W on a wall and think that's fun. It's not fun. Like, why would you want to spray paint a W on a wall? Why would you want to do that? So I don't know. Would not recommend Warriors, you know. So basically, you know, some of these I'd recommend. What would I recommend? All of these, they're not perfect games. and that's the thing about them, because they're movie games. They're doing them because the movie was popular and made a lot of money, and now they want to make more money with the game. So the thing is that like almost there's all these games are like there's some flaw in it in some point to it. Lord of the Rings is good. You probably have a good time if you're playing them. Battlestar Galactica, I found it to be unplayable, but because it was too hard, but you can make it easier, so I don't know. Constantine was fun, but also it's not a perfect game, and you might get stuck in the middle somewhere. Indiana Jones was fun, also you could get stuck in the middle. Warriors, I wouldn't recommend. Van Helsing, I don't know. I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if I like this game or not. I don't think I played it enough. And yeah, that's pretty much like, and it's pretty much those. There were like a few more like movie games and whatever that came out, but these are the ones I wanted to talk about because like they're not perfect, but they're like some of them are worth playing, and some of them you might have a different experience than other people playing that same game, and you might think a little bit different of it, and I could see like why they would do it. And if you're a fan of that movie and whatever, pick up the game, check it out, because they're not too bad. Just try to find out like if the game was good before you pick it up, because some games are just like, it sounds so great because it was a movie and you liked it, but you know, but like it comes, you know, but it gets to the point where it's like they tried to make a game from the movie, and you know, who knows, like, is it good or is it not? I think this is more of like, do you like it? Did you have a good time playing it? And I would say like, you know, check it out, try it out, and you might like it, you might not like it, but you never know, because like you really never know with these games. So yeah, so let me know what you guys are thinking. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments. Like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. Watch my other videos. I got more videos. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video later.